right. Welcome everybody to Self Storage Made Simple, episode 4 with Cameron and Russell. Russell, how are you doing today?
Very good, very good. How are you, man?
Fantastic, fantastic. I'm happy to be here with you again, as always. I wanted to start off with a hard-hitting question and to really peel back the curtain on who you are and how you define life for yourself is, what does success mean to you, Russell?
Interesting question. Well, good morning, everybody. Once again, my name is Russell Narcisov. I'm one of the managing partners of Safe Storage USA and Safe Storage Investors. We are a private equity firm. We're raising money to acquire and operate self-storage facility across the United States. Just to give you a bit of a backstory on me, I wasn't always in self-storage. I spent 23 and a half years practicing as a licensed chiropractor at multiple offices, many different locations, and not to take a lot of your time, but at some point of time, I developed conditions in both of my shoulders and I required surgeries. Could not practice anymore, so I had to sell my practices. And at the end of 2018, beginning 2019, and I went into I started to look for different opportunities, how I can maintain my lifestyle and continue to support my family in the best possible way. And I got into investing in multifamily for a few years and did some large projects in Dallas-Fort Worth area. But then I realized that it's just too complicated. It takes too many people to put it all together, and was looking for another way to use the knowledge that I acquire in multifamily. And I came by self-storage. And to make a long story short, in March of 2021, I believe, is where we closed on our first property. And we've been managing and operating properties ever since. So to answer your question directly, what does success looks like? I think it's different for everyone. But at the end of the day, we all the same. We want the same thing. You know, we want to be able to provide for our families. We want to be able to support our kids. We want to be able to give them better life than we have. And we want to be able to make a positive impact on other people's lives, and whichever way that takes. So whether it's helping out your investors and producing asymmetrical returns, so they can better their financial life and therefore, afford different things and change their lives in that way. Whether it's improving your own life, your own conditions, and being able to give your family and your kids things that that we never had, and we never had an opportunity to explore. Take them through different colleges, being able to pay for it and give them different experiences. Or whether it's your ability to possibly retire your parents a little bit sooner than they would have otherwise, because they've been working all their lives, and kind of want to give back to them. And once again, one of the other things that really drives me is giving back to people that help me to get where I am at, or to people that I don't even know, just to change their life. So if I can change one person's life, I would be super happy. It would give me a lot of joy and success. I think good family, good kids, hopefully parents still around, and just be happy and do things that you want to do. Actually, do things that you want to do, and while you're doing things that you want to do things that matter, not only to you but to other people as well. I think it's a very long-winded answer, but but that's what I think it is for me.
Yeah, that's fantastic. On that note, maybe do you have one or two examples in your mind where you really feel, after all of your years of experience, that these particular moments really felt like you were the most successful man on the planet, whether it be family, financially, like maybe a couple examples that come to mind quickly?
Um, Well, just like I said, part of it is being able to provide for your family and give your kids whatever we never had. Um, I went to college. I went to three actually colleges, and I had to borrow heavily to do that. Even to get my graduate degree, I had to go in debt to extent of about $129,000 I had to borrow, and then it took me a while to pay it back. And I never want my kids to be settled with that. So my wife and I, we made a decision that we're gonna do whatever we can, and pay for their colleges. And ever since they were born, we opened up a 529 plan, and we did all the right things. So they don't have to be burdened with loans for the next 10 years of their life after they graduate. So that would be number one. Number two, just being able to take them on different vacation and show them the world. Ever since my kids were little, we went to all over Europe. We went to Australia. We went to many, many, many different countries, and I felt immensely proud of the fact that I could give that to them. And just like I said, some of the investors that we're working with, just by providing a value and service to them, and by helping them achieve their financial success, I know they can do certain things right now that they were not able to do before, and it gives me a lot of pleasure to say that and to do that for them.
Yeah, that's amazing. Congratulations on those feats. Those are very substantial. Um, as far as getting there, how do you mentally tune yourself to be a successful man? Who do you surround yourself with? What events do you go to? How do you stay sharp, Russell?
Well, another great question. The whole premise that one person can achieve success or any level of success, it's probably somewhat faulted, because it does take a team to get where you need to get. And I'm sure you've seen this before, you read this before. You want to be surrounded by people a lot smarter than you, and you want to build a team, and the team is what actually get you to where you want to get and help you to get there faster. So I'm a big believer um, in the concept of who, not how. I read that book by Dan Sullivan, and it changed my life. So basically, the premise of the book is there is always a person that knows more about what you're doing and can help you get there without you actually acquire that specific knowledge. So you don't need to know everything. You don't have to know everything. It's impossible to know everything. However, there's always someone that can provide that service, that knowledge for you. And as long as you surround yourself by the right team, you can accomplish a lot in a relatively short period of time. So how do you build that team? Where are these people coming from? So I found one of the better ways and the fastest ways is where you involve in some kind of a network. When you plugged into the network of like-minded investors. And my partner and I, we are part of a number of masterminds. Actually, one of them is um, by Scott Myers. It's a self-storage mastermind. The other one is a very good mastermind, raisemasters.com, with Hunter and Cameron, actually. So when we go there, and we meet every quarter, I believe, when we go there, you see hundreds and hundreds of investors, hundreds and hundreds of people looking for things that you're looking for, doing things that you're doing, and this kind of environment creates nothing but stimulus to do more, to achieve more, to work together, and a lot of times I've seen a lot of relationship are being developed and created, a lot of partnership being created, and a lot of deals are being done within the group, which makes it even more valuable. But just like I said, that you can't get there by yourself. I think the fastest way is when you give an opportunity and you surround yourself with smarter people than you are, which in my case is not that difficult. But and these people will help you, will drive you forward, will help you get where you want to get a lot faster.
Yeah, it seems like it's common, uncommon knowledge almost, because we all know that bad friends will hold you back, but then good friends will bring you to new heights and new levels.
That's correct.
So getting yourself in that room, surrounding yourself with high achievers is a natural progression for you to become that same thing. And I know you bring a lot of value to our group and every group that you're a part of, Russell. So thank you for that.
Thank you for
And
having
then,
me.
yeah, our pleasure. And then on that note, back to the real estate side of things in terms of the team building and actually getting a deal across the line. What is involved in that from start to finish? Getting the deal, getting the people in place, everyone operating their unique ability. What does that look like, Russell?
Well, it takes a village to raise a child. You know, they say it takes a village to actually take a deal down. Um, I think the most challenging a part of putting the deal together today is actually deal flow. There is such a tremendous discrepancy between the seller's expectation and buyer's ability to finance the projects today that it is very, very difficult and almost impossible at times to come to terms with the seller. So deal flow is, I believe, is the biggest challenge today. So your acquisition team is playing a very important role today. So just to run through the process of how we go about it, we have a whole team they do nothing but reaching out to the owners, working with brokers. So they're giving us the deal flow, so we can take a look at it. Then we have our underwriting team that will underwrite those deals and to see whether it makes sense at all to go further with it. And if it passes the underwriting, then those deals getting to us where we actually take a look at it, take a look at the market analysis, take a look at all the components of the deal, and we're going to make a decision whether we're going to move forward or not. Now, up until recently, that would have been enough because the next logical step would be to reach out to your banker or a mortgage broker and to see what type of mortgage you can get, what type of debt you can secure. Now, you start that process very early on because that changes tremendously, and especially recently with the way the market is and the Feds are in terms of the raising rates, consistently for the last year and a half to 2 years, it is becoming progressively more difficult to not only to find the deal but to fund the deal. So funding the deal is actually one of the biggest challenges today. The other part of that equation is raising equity, and but this is where all the knowledge and information learned from Raise Masters, Hunter, and Cam from you. This is where it comes very, very, very handy. Having a system, how to onboard the investors, how to reach out to investors, how to talk to the investors, how to select the investors, because there's not everybody you want to work with, and you might not be a good fit for everyone as well. So being very selective, being very streamlined in terms of who's coming on board, and let's not neglect the fact that you can go to the bank today and buy a CD and get a 5%, if not higher. So this is what we have to compete with today, and it is our job to educate the investor world that yes, there is an opportunity to get a guaranteed 5% return, but what we are able to provide for our investors not only is significantly higher, but also it comes with a lot of other benefits, a lot of other tax benefits as well. I'm not a tax professional, so please do consult your CPA and your attorney. But there are tremendous benefits that comes with investing in real estate. So if you know how to use those benefits to your advantage, it could help you propel into the stratosphere in terms of increasing your returns significantly higher and above the 5 or 5.25% that you're able to secure at the bank with the CDs. So yeah, that's just a part of it. I mean, it is a complicated process. Then you need a management team to onboard the property, to bring in the management software, to start marketing the property. So a lot of effort goes into that. It takes us about 6 to 9 months to make all the changes that we want, especially possibly longer. I mean, if we need to do some kind of renovation, capex, any construction, or fix any issues that comes along with the property. But just like I said, it takes a team of people to bring in the property on board, operate the property, buy the property, close the property. So it's a lot of work that usually you don't see. But that's what the team, our team, this is what we do on a daily basis. So we love it, and we're just going to continue rock and rolling.
Let's touch on some of that work then for a moment, because you're a successful businessman and you're sophisticated to the level where you vertically integrated your operation in terms of everything being in-house. Can you discuss what that was like, the work behind building the proper team, the in-house management in order to get the property stabilized to where all of your investors are profiting?
So yeah, we made a decision early on that we're gonna run the management side in the house, meaning there are different ways to do it. You can hire a third-party management, and they will probably charge you anywhere between 6 and 10% of your gross revenue, depending on the size of the property. For some property, it makes sense. For smaller properties, it might not make sense. So it's up to the ownership to make a decision whether you want to hire somebody or you want to start developing your in-house operation in terms of the management. We utilize what's called a remote management system. We do not necessarily have a full-time person sitting on the premise, 20 not 20, but 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So what we have is what's called the boots on the ground, and we have somebody coming in as needed. And it could be 4 hours this week, 5 hours next week, 10 hours the following week, or no hours at all. And we have an asset manager that stays on top of that person and reports directly to us. Everything is computerized, so we're using a management software. Pretty much anything can be done today online in terms of the inquiring about the unit availability, inquiring about or signing a lease, making a payment, securing the unit. So we use some of those management softwares that are available to us, and between the management software, between the asset manager and the boots on the ground, we have internally built a team that can process everything from A to Z, onboarding the tenant, taking the payment, sending out letters, reminders, text, and everything that need to be done to stay in touch with our tenants. Being able to use those software today actually makes the job a lot easier. But everything is going that way. Everything is online today. They said 85% of searches for self-storage starts today online. So basically, you go online and you punch in self-storage and then the name of the city where you want to do, and everything comes up. So whoever is not online today, they probably gonna fall behind. And whoever is not investing in technology today, they're probably not going to be as competitive as someone who does. So we're just trying to stay ahead of that curve and the crowd, and we do invest pretty heavily in the technology today. I think it's a must, and that's the only way to do it.
Awesome. Well, maybe we could touch on what you're currently working on, what's new in the market. I know we do these pretty much monthly at this point, and we'll continue with that cadence for the viewers. What's new in Russell's world? What are you seeing? Anything on your table at the moment, or just kind of waiting it out? Where are you at?
So we're in the market daily. We are underwriting properties daily, and we make an offers daily. Just like I said, especially recently, I feel that it's becoming increasingly more difficult to pencil the deal and to make sure that the numbers are actually where they need to be. And one of the biggest unknown today, just like I said, is the availability of the debt. And so we're working very closely with our bankers and the mortgage brokers. In terms of what do we have available currently right now, we're working on a couple of deals that we have found directly by going directly to the owner. And we have a group of VAs that are actually calling every day and trying to reach out to the owners and see if they would be interested in getting an offer on their property. So whoever is interested, we put together an offer, we submit, and we open a line of the communication with them once again, if you call somebody and then you ask if they would be willing to sell their property, it doesn't mean they are today, but they might be 90 days later or 6 months later or a year later. So staying in touch with those owners that express their openness to sell their property at some point of time, and trying to follow up with everybody that we need to follow up. So that's the major thing. In terms of what do we actually have on the table, we're looking at 2 deals right now. One is the boat and RV storage in Texas that we feel could be a very good deal if we come to terms with the owner. And the other one is the self-storage in Georgia that we're looking at right now. Now, whether it's going to come to a closing table, it's yet to be determined. Certainly, we're going to do everything that we can to take it over the finish line. But once again, there are a number of unknowns at this point. So we continue to work with those owners, and hopefully we'll be able to take those deals all the way to the finish line. Hopefully soon too.
I know we're running low on time here, but I got to ask one last question. With the constant flux of deals on the table, some that go, some that don't, how do you avoid getting emotionally attached to a deal? Must have some tips and tricks over the years, because I know it's usually the biggest challenge for real estate investors.
They say you should not get emotionally involved with the deal. I think after you look at the X number of deals and you basically can't tell whether the deal is good or not just by looking at the very basic data. At the end of the day, it's all about the numbers. We have responsibility to our investors. We have responsibility to ourselves and our families to make sure that whatever it is that we are to take down, whatever it is that we are to purchase and operate, makes sense financially and without taking excessive risk. Because our number one job is to protect the downside. So we need to protect the investment. We need to protect our investors' money. And I think this is what we're getting paid for. So we do not get emotionally involved. I should ask my partner if that's the case, but I don't feel that we're getting emotionally involved with deals. We are very narrowly focused on returns and on making sure the deal works and under any circumstances. And our job is to protect the downside. However, we do understand that if the deal works in today's environment, give 2, 3, 4 years when the overall financial climate hopefully is going to readjust, and we might see some reduction in the interest being charged on the debt, and hopefully they will adjust the cap rate as well. So any deal that works in today's environment will be a lot stronger going forward. So we just want to make sure that whatever it is that we are to take down works in today's world and produces cash flow required by our investors. And that's what we do. So it's a numbers game. That's all it is.
I love it. Well, Russell, we're coming to a close here. I look forward to seeing you early October at our Race Masters retreat in New Orleans. It's going to be great to see you in person again.
I'm excited about it. Very excited.
Yeah. It's going to be a great time. But thanks to everybody for tuning in today. This is another episode in Self-Storage Made Simple with Cam and Russell.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.